So why is it that small things feel so big, right? Small things that happen in our lives feel big, heavy, burdensome, just heavy. So what I will do is kind of cover understanding emotional reactivity, cover how we can be reactive to more of our inner world, our own reality, our own thoughts, our own stories. That's what emotional reactivity is. That's being impulsive. There's all kinds of words to describe all the same thing. But what I do work with my clients is helping them reach a higher level of emotional maturity versus emotional reactivity. So small events that happen in everybody's lives, we all have a mixed bag of things going on in our lives: people, places, things, situations, circumstances, health stuff, bills, pressures, wants, desires, all the things. So this applies to all of it. But when something small happens, so something, small is a very subjective term, but something small happens and in your day, and all of a sudden it becomes big. How does that happen? Well, it happens because of the meaning we human beings as individuals assign to that event in our mind. We can make anything seem big or small. We can make anything seem miserable or fun through the meaning that we assign to anything and everything. How is that? Well, it's through our thoughts. It's through the patterns of thought. So if you have a pattern or a cycle or a default, or naturally think about things half glass full, everything's going to be half glass full, pessimistic, thinking that the worst. Okay, so if you have a half glass full perspective, optimistic, open-minded, life is just lifing and things will always work out, it's all figure outable, that's a whole different meaning is assigned to events that happen throughout your day, small events. So we create thoughts, stories, judgments from inside of our own mind. We determine what's fair, what's not fair, what's good, what's right, what's better, what's worse, all the things by our thoughts, the meanings that we assign to everything, our relationship to everything. If you have a low level or poor relationship to yourself as a human being and a poor relationship to your life, everything is going to be half glass, half full, pessimistic, doom, gloom. You're going to be imagining the worst. You're going to jump to conclusions. You're going to fortune tell. You're going to have all the mental distortions that there are, and maybe more. So we rarely, as human beings, react to the moment itself. And what I mean by that is by the fact of the reality. We are emotional beings. We use our imagination for good or for evil. And if your default is pessimistic, you're going to probably likely have a very hyperactive, reactive imagination. Your imagination is going to likely jump to conclusions, fill in blanks, create a lot of drama, create a lot of chaos. Oh, here. Now, your behaviors will be influenced by what comes in this beautiful gray matter. Your behaviors can create chaos outside of you. So we react to the meaning and the stories that our mind tells us about that moment. That's what makes us fun, interesting human beings. So have you ever wondered why one small thing can completely ruin your day? Right? You get a text, or maybe you don't get a text back. Maybe you're waiting for a text to come back. Maybe you get a look, a glare, a sigh, maybe an eye roll, or maybe there's just silence. So how is it something super small, super insignificant, an eye roll, turn into something so enormous? The eye roll is just an eye roll. It has no meaning. None, zero. Until you make it mean disrespect, rude, how dare they, I would never do that, I'm a superior to you. Once we want to control that and tell them, don't you dare do that, well, now the chaos is not in here, it's out there. So the event is really small. I think we can all agree that an eye roll is rather small, but the meaning that we make in our gray matter in between our ears makes it significant, makes it big, makes it light up our nervous system, and that makes it feel even bigger. Right? Heart rate changes, we start sweating, maybe adrenaline starts flooding our body, cortisol, all the things, and we start to make it feels even bigger and larger than it originally was. So the occurrence is an event. Okay, we have a small event, a moment, the eye roll. I'm going to stick with that this video, I think. Just dawned on me. I don't know why. Nobody's eye rolled me in forever, and do I care now? No. But let's say someone does. The event is an eye roll. The meaning or the story, the judgments happen up here in our thoughts, in our imagination, in our stories. Then there's a feeling that follows all thoughts that we believe, that we hook onto, that we attach to, that we grab onto. Okay. There's a feeling sense, and the feeling, you'll feel it all over your body. You might feel it in your chest. You might feel it in your neck, your head, your face, your head, your shoulders, your back, your thighs, your stomach. Right? You feel it in your body. Whatever you think and believe, you will feel it in your body in some way. That's the part that most people don't realize, is that this all happens really quickly. Then there's a reaction. Okay. We think, we feel, we do is the shortest version I can give you. But when we feel that feeling in our body and it feels real, it feels urgent, it feels like it needs to be addressed, then we react, right? We say things, we bark at people, we yell at people, we scold them, we tell them not to do that. How dare you? I don't know. Again, it's been forever since I've had an eye roll at me. I don't even know what I would do. Today I would be like, okay, look at you go. Look at you pop off. I would not. I would be unaffected. I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever you eye roll bounces off of me and sticks to you. I would be unaffected by it, because I think that's what the person wants, is you to react. I would have zero reaction. But let's say you do react. You're very impulsive. You're very easily threatened. You believe it's disrespectful and rude, and I would never do that. Let me tell you, emotional maturity, when we think that way, goes down. Think about emotional maturity and knowing where your emotions come from and putting all of your energy in your inner world is such a beautiful place to be. You're unaffected by the world. No one has power over you. Your life is so much smoother and so much easier. Trust me. Most people only notice, out of all of those things, the event, the meaning, the feeling, the reaction, most people only notice the feeling. They notice their stomach, their head, their chest, their neck, the hotness that rises from their chest to their neck to their face. That's what they notice. They don't notice anything else. The meaning and the thoughts, they all happen so quickly because it's a pattern, right? The trigger. When someone triggers you, that's for you to work on. That's for you to overcome. That's for you to move through so it no longer triggers you. It's about learning where your feelings come from, and now in redefining those thoughts, those patterns when you get that stimulus, when you see that, hear that, smell that, taste that, touch that. So the meaning often happens so lightning fast because it's been done so many times in your life. And when we act from that feeling, it reinforces it. It makes that trigger louder, bigger, more lit up. It lights your nervous system up bigger and bigger each time. That's how the brain works. We're very simple beings. So when your teenager, your partner, your significant other walks away or eye rolls at you, the thought or the story or the meaning that you might have is, one person might have is, oh, they're tired. They've had a long week. They had a lot of exams this week, or my partner, husband, wife, whatever, has a lot of stress, has a lot of things going on in their life, and I'm going to give them a hall pass. That's how one version. That's somebody that's emotionally mature and stays in their own business and regulates themselves, period. Let them walk away. Let them eye roll. Let them manage their own feelings and emotions. That's not my job. And I would regulate myself, stay calm, stay neutral. That's their job. That's their business. That's their lane. If they need my help, they'll come and ask for it, and I'll hold space for them. I won't take it on. I won't solve their emotional experience, because that's emotional maturity. Emotional intelligence is knowing where your emotions come from and regulate yourself. And also, if someone comes to you and asks for help, to seek to understand their perspective without taking on those feelings. That's emotional intelligence in a nutshell. Now, if your emotional intelligence is low and your emotional immaturity is low and you've never been taught this, because who teaches this out there? Right? A lot of this stuff, a lot of the work that I do is out there, and people read it, but they don't understand it. They don't know how to integrate it into their life. So that's where I help my clients. But if you're low level of understanding of, and you're reactive, you're low emotional maturity and low emotional intelligence, you're going to go, oh, I did something. Something's wrong. I must have done something wrong. Or how dare they? How awful of them to be silent and eye roll at me. But that's the same moment. It's the same moment, two different experiences, two different realities. The thinking is different in those two people, and that's it. The meaning making is different in those two individuals, and that's it. One is very grounded and regulated. The other one is very reactive, and life is happening to me, and it's your fault. It's blaming. It's complaining. Two very different realities. And I'm telling you, one that blames and complains and points fingers and woe's me is living a life of misery. There is a choice in doing that. Okay. And I'm not saying that that's easy. It takes repetition, it takes understanding, and it takes every day working on your own emotional experience and keeping your energy inward. Not getting into everybody else's business, solving everybody's problems and managing everybody's feelings and thinking, oh, because eventually when everybody's happy around me, then I'll be happy. Guess what? That'll never happen. It'll never happen. Learn how to regulate yourself. So the body, your nervous system, your mind is programmed to respond to your stories, your meaning, and your perception of what's happening around you. But that's not fact. That's not based on solid proof or fact. It's based on the imagination dreaming up what anything and everything means. An eye roll meaning that that's disrespectful, that's rude, how dare you, I would never do that. You don't do that to someone that outranks you, or whatever you want to call it, superior to you. So let's say you send a text to someone you care about and love. You send out a text, and let's say hours passed. Hours go by, hours and hours go by. So there's fact that you sent out a text, And the fact is they haven't responded. And the fact is you can look at your phone and say, I sent out a text at 9 a.m. and it's noon. That's fact. Okay. What gets added meaning wise and judgments and comparisons? Well, I would never do that. I would respond quickly, right? All of that is story. All of that is meaning. Believing that they're mad at you, believing that they're ignoring you, believing that they're being disrespectful, believing that they're being rude, believing that something is wrong, believing that they're pulling away from you, believing that the relationship is changing, is all believing and imaginary and not real. And all of those are going to light up your body. And all of those will lead to behaviors that are very odd and damaging to relationships. They come from insecurity, they come from fear. But when we react to something that stimulates our body from a trigger, when we react out of it, it makes it bigger next time, and bigger the time after that, and bigger the next time. It compounds it every single time. The mind doesn't like uncertainty. The mind does not like not knowing. So 9 a.m. to noon, not getting a text back when you expect it to be like now, want it to be now, desire it to be now, prefer that it be now. That's all on you. That's all in your meaning. That uncertainty might be uncomfortable for anybody. And the mind loves to fill in the blank with meaning, that gap, that time, those 3 hours. So the stronger the feeling, loads up or feels, the more true it seems in your body. I get that. Like I have clients that'll just sit there and justify and give excuses and reasons, and this is why, and this is why, and why, and why, and why, and why. It's just all drama. It's all chaos going on here. So the stronger a feeling feels in your body, the more urge or intensity is to build up a bigger story and believe those intense thoughts and feelings. That's a slippery slope. That's your overactive imagination that's going to compound and get bigger each time. So with each time you get triggered by that stimulus, by that specific person, that place, that smell, that thing you hear, the emotional intensity gets bigger. And your mind collects it as proof and evidence that there's danger happening outside of you. So anxiety raises, stress raises, anger raises. All of this can be justified through more stories, more meaning. And for some people, they believe fearful thoughts are responsible. Oh, I'm just doing this, I just do that. I'm just an overthinker. I'm just an anxious person. Well, you're identifying yourself, and guess what? That's creating the algorithm in your brain. So your brain's going to go, oh, we're an anxious individual. Oh, we're an overthinker. Ramp that up because that's true. That's that person's identity. So let's it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You get in your own way even more. Because a feeling happens in your body does not mean that's fact or proof or evidence that that person is rude or mean or the relationship is ending. Your mind wants you to believe that. Your mind can make it feel real and true. So all feelings are valid. Don't come at me for that. Feelings are valid based on your own thinking patterns. So if you have a tendency to have anxious thoughts, that's valid. If you have a tendency to have angry thoughts, that's valid. Your thoughts feed your feelings. It's a loop. It's a pattern. If you want to stay angry, if you want to stay anxious, you want to stay stressed out, go ahead. But what I'm going to tell you is you're shortening your lifespan. And the lifespan that you do have is going to be riddled with chaos and misery and suffering. Suffering all up here. So your feelings, no matter what, are what you are experiencing. We are emotional beings. We will experience more internal than we do external. Because think about it, this is one of the things I think is funny is I have gotten mail before in my life. Okay, look at me, gather proof and evidence. I've gotten mail anonymously and opened it up and it be horrible news. That was an experience that I'll never forget. So what happens every time I get a piece of mail that's anonymous? I can feel my body light up. I can even feel it talking about it right now. See, I think, then I feel. So how do I move through that? How do I have a different experience with anonymous mail? Well, I mean, one way is tell my friends, just send me mail anonymously, randomly throughout the year. Exposure therapy, right? That's one way. Certainly that might work. I think it would. But I'd almost know, like, because I'm activating that, I would know and I would expect that mail. It probably wouldn't work. But that mail doesn't make me feel nervous. It's my perception, my meaning, my judgments, my life experience, my proof that this has happened to me before. But that's not true. I have gotten anonymous mail since that occurred 20 plus years ago, probably 25 years ago now. 22 years ago. And I will say with each time it's gotten less and less and less. And this was even before knowing all the things that I teach now, but I've gotten Christmas cards, all kinds of things. And I remember feeling this wave of relief. Like, oh, it's a Christmas card. It's not bad news. But look at the meaning, right? Where somebody that's never gotten bad news before might be excited. Like, oh, there I got a card from somebody. Somebody thought about me. Somebody loves me. Somebody, sent something special. So maybe somebody sent cash. That might be what some of you were creating meaning from an envelope with no return address and no, explanation of who it's from. So the feelings are not evidence. It's not proof. On the relationship front, conflict doesn't begin with what happened most of the time. So I'm talking about relationship to yourself, to someone you love, or someone you work with, or someone you live next to. Relationship can mean anybody, right? So conflict can happen anywhere, homeowners associations, or your neighbor, or friends, or family, or chosen family. Most conflict doesn't begin with what happened. Most conflicts begin with what is assumed. Where? Here, in our imagination, in this gray matter. The meanings and stories and drama and the chaos that we create in our mind. It usually occurs from someone's interpretation, someone's reaction, someone's tension. A lot of times people are walking around as just really tense human beings that create a lot of stories, a lot of meanings, a lot of interpretations. And a lot of times arguments are just two totally different realities, two totally different perspectives, totally different opinions, two totally different views based on what? Their life experience, their culture, how they were raised, what they see as right or wrong or good or bad or better or worse. It's all in their own judgments, all in their own meanings, all in their own stories. So a lot of times conflicts occur over really nothing. Something that maybe occurred for seconds, but a story that's been building over decades, a lifetime, a person's lifetime. Like the eye rolling is a great example. If you have a teenager and they've rolled their eyes at you, and maybe you have a past of where you got a whooping when you were a kid for rolling your eyes at a parent. Now you're dragging that child, that generational pattern into this relationship with your child? How are you going to respond? Are you going to do something different? Or are you going to do what was done in your childhood? Disrupt the patterns, do things differently. This is how we grow. This is emotional maturity, is learning to do things differently, slowing down and choosing to do things differently. Going, aha, my brain is feeding me to get upset that they rolled my eyes at me because that's a pattern that was modeled to me. Oh, look at that. I can feel it in my body. Is that true? Meh, could be. Today, I'm going to choose to just be unaffected. Today, I'm going to choose to let them go to the room and do their own thing. I'm going to go my way. I'm going to regulate myself and stay calm and plan a beautiful evening or a beautiful dinner, or I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to really feed my soul. Just like me, an anonymous mail, right? See that mail and go, it could be money. It could be good news. Or certainly if it isn't, I look forward to opening it up and solving it, figuring it out. I look forward to anonymous mail. Why? Because it teaches me that mail can't trigger me. Mail can't affect me, right? That mail that I got 22 years ago majorly changed the trajectory of my life. At the time, it seemed horrible and awful, but looking back on it, it was the best piece of mail I ever got. Look at that. Look at the gift in that. Everything has a silver lining. Everything has a gift. If you look through the lens or the cup that's half full, if you look for optimism, if you look for how can I learn, how can I grow, how can I be bolder, stronger, and learn from this. So reassurance can't quiet a story the mind has already been committed to, or an identity or a worldview. Identity, worldview, stories, beliefs, judgments often are really hard wired into people, unless they're open-minded and open-hearted and willing to hear another perspective without being swayed, but willing to hear and listen and understand, which you have to have that skill built to listen to someone else. So sometimes I get clients that are like, rub my back, reassure me, validate me. Okay, well, my words are not going to make you feel better. They might for a second, they might for 20 minutes, but then what? Then you're going to need it again. Then you're going to need it again. Then you're going to need it again. And then sooner or later, you're going to figure out your feelings are not in my words. Your feelings are inside of you. If you believe my feelings make you feel happy, I have that power. I'm your puppet master and you are my puppet. I hold the remote control to your happiness and you don't want that. Do not fall into that trap. So most certainty, right? Certainty, when I say certainty, when our mind seeks certainty, our mind seeks safety. That's all our brain's job is to make sure that this human being is safe and stays alive. So this brain loves what feels good and feels familiar. So that's why a lot of people live in a very small bubble and live in a comfy, cozy life, but watch TV and wish their life looked different. And they're miserable because their brain is designed to move them towards what feels good, which might be scrolling on TikTok, eating horrible food for them because it's quick, it's easy, and I can just Uber Eats it. But then they watch people out in the world doing amazing, incredible things, and then they shame themselves and weaponize social media as making me sad. It's all not true. But most people want certainty, but rarely are they going to solve that without uncertainty. That's how we grow, is we How you grow a muscle. Think about growing a muscle. You grow a muscle by progressive overload. So progressive overload is like, well, maybe you've never lifted weights before. And so you start with 5-pound dumbbells or even 2-pound dumbbells, shoot, whatever. Progressive overload is over time, gradually increasing that weight. And it might be over years, and that's fine. If it takes you 15 years to get to 15 pounds, that's great. But that's how you grow muscle. That's how you grow a skill. That's how you grow mentally, emotionally, and physically, is by going into uncertainty. I don't know if I can lift this 15-pound dumbbell. Well, let's try. How many reps can you do today? 2? Great. Fantastic. We're going to put down 2 for today. That's fine. Maybe tomorrow's 2 as well. Maybe in a week it'll be 3. I don't know. But when we believe that things have to be perfect and certain and safe, guess what? You're going to be in that bubble, watching TV, scrolling on the Instagram or whatever, and wishing your life was different. You're staying in the comfort bubble. Some people get it wrong and believe that emotional intelligence, having emotional intelligence, means I'll always be happy and always be calm. No, that's not what that means. Emotional intelligence is 2 levels. It's understanding where your emotions come from and how to regulate yourself. So if you start to dip below, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, the worst feeling is a 1 and the best feeling is a 10. Middle of the road is a 5. So when you move down from a 5 to a 4 is knowing how to move up to a 5. Your feelings are inside of you. They don't come in the mail. They don't come from an eye roll. They don't come from getting a text to say, we need to talk. It doesn't come from that. When you believe your feelings come outside in and the world has to be perfect and everything has to be just like you want it or desired or prefer it, you're going to be miserable. Emotional intelligence, the second level, is understanding another human being's emotions, seeking to understand how they feel and how did they get there, and holding space for them, allowing them to process their emotions while you stay steady and calm, or whatever language you want to use, without enmeshing into their emotions, without saving them, without fixing their problems, or even offering solutions unless they ask. And if they ask twice if they're sure they want your advice. Ask twice, are you sure you want my opinion? Because your judgments, your opinions, your advice are going to be through your lens of life experience and through your fears for them. So you're going to say, oh, don't go after that job because, it's not fun there. Don't go after that person. Don't have a relationship with them. They're going to break your heart. Well-meaning, loving people, or family and friends, are the most often going to give you the worst advice, because they lovingly don't want you to hurt. Why? Because they don't want to hurt, or they don't want to see you hurt. So it's well-meaning, but unfortunately, they're not supporting you in solving your issues, becoming more resilient, becoming more emotionally mature, becoming more emotionally intelligent. They're not supporting you in that. In fact, they're reinforcing you being suffering, truthfully. And also, when we get advice from friends and family, then we get all their voices in our head and we don't even know what kind of ice cream we like anymore. We don't know what kind of music or movies we like because we're taking a poll. We're going on social media and asking 300 people, what would you do in my situation? You're asking a bunch of people, random strangers, through their fears, their life experience, to give you advice for your life. And what if it goes really bad? Are you going to blame them? Now we're back to blaming. So see the vicious cycle? Learning to value and trust yourself. It's learning to have a healthy relationship to yourself, building that self-reliance, building self-confidence, building self-esteem. So I teach a lot of leadership, self-leadership, leading your life, finding your inner compass and knowing what direction you want to go with your life, learning how to lead your life and build a life that you love. And that does take being aware of where You are about to react to someone rolling eyes at you, or noticing before you panic when you get a piece of mail that has no return address on it. It's noticing that, having that awareness and going, whoa, look at my body light up. Look at my brain creating meaning. Look at my brain blowing this out of proportion. Look at my imagination creating all these stories. It's choosing not to believe those stories. It's choosing to go, well, what else is true? Could be true here. I could be getting money in the mail, cash. I could be on the eye roll, it could be they're rolling their eyes at something they're thinking, and it may not have anything to do with what I said. They could be rolling their eyes because they're tired, they're exhausted, they're grumpy, they're a teenager. Who knows? Hormones are raging. So the goal is never to control your emotions. You can't. You're going to feel all the emotions, from grief to sorrow to sadness to happiness to elation to excitement to joy to faith to hope to possibility. You're going to feel them all. You will. If you live a full life, you're going to go through all the emotions. The goal is to see what's creating them and have the power to turn it up, right? From a 4 to a 5. Your strong feelings means you're just having strong thoughts. So feelings don't automatically mean there's something wrong or something bad. So feeling could mean you're having a human experience, or you are a human. You're having an emotional reaction to a piece of mail or someone eye rolling. Feeling could mean that this is just an old pattern. It's very outdated and needs to be updated. A feeling could mean that there's nothing dangerous happening at all. A feeling is just information. I like to call it like a smoke alarm. Like it's just an alert, an old alert that needs rewiring, needs new instruction, needs new reframing. It needs a new job. Give it a new job. Thank you, fear. Have a seat behind me. I don't need you right now. Thank you for that. Life gets lighter. Life gets funnier. Feelings are not always fact. Most of the time, they're not. It's a question. Wow, why, where does this feeling come from? And what is the reason for this reaction in my body, right? If we act from it, that keeps it bigger. It keeps growing. It keeps getting louder. But if we stay curious and go, whoa, fascinating. My body is having a response right now. How fascinating. What story? What meaning? What am I interpreting? What am I speculating? What's going on in my brain and my body? Stay curious. Fascinatingly curious. Stick with the facts. Stick with what's true, what's real, what's vanilla, what's boring, right? No text in 3 hours. I have a piece of mail with no return address. Those are facts. Be curious at what you're assuming, what judgments you're making. Be curious, am I reacting to this fact, or am I reacting from an emotion? And also a question you could ask too is, would someone else respond or feel this same way or experience this moment the same way that I am? It's not a comparison, but it is about understanding your humanness. Is this unique to me? Am I believing this without the facts? Is this even big? Is this a big deal? Is this a hill worth dying on? Is this worth making a big deal about? Is this worth using up a tremendous amount of my energy on, knowing that at the end of the day, I'm going to have no energy left to share with my loved ones and my pets or my hobbies or things that I love or I'm interested in? What small things is my imagination making really big? What are my automatic thoughts? What is the flavor of my automatic thoughts when things happen outside of me? And what's one that I can work on this week or just today and improve it just a little bit, just turning the dial just a little bit? Because life is not happening to you. Life is happening for you. And for me, I didn't really understand what that quote meant for the longest time. But when life is happening to you, it's believing that you're a victim. It's happening to me. Woe's me. I'm a martyr. Everything is unfair. Life is happening for you because when things happen, they're teaching you something. If you look for that, if you seek that out, that is optimism. That is an open mind. That is half glass, half full way of thinking. That's emotional intelligence. That is emotional maturity. That is looking at, whoa, this is happening. What is this teaching me? How do I grow? How do I be stronger? How do I be more resilient? How do I protect myself from this happening again? Because if it keeps happening again, it's because you didn't learn from it all the other times, because your life will keep bringing into focus those things until you learn from them. So this comes with being needy and taking on jobs that are creating a lot of heartache, or taking on relationships, loving relationships or friendships that are the same, just different outfits, different human beings. Life will keep occurring. You'll keep seeing these patterns. You'll keep magnetizing these things into your life until you learn from them, until you grow, you evolve, and choose differently. All right. Hey, I did this under an hour, 43 minutes. Yay. All right, guys, I'm going to end right there. I feel like if I go any further, I'm going to get off topic. Anyways, love you guys. Thank you for your comments, your feedback. Send me your questions. I love hearing from you. Anyways, talk to you soon.